1 Timothy 2 verses 9 to 10. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but, which becometh women professing godliness, with good works. As mentioned before, in the time of the Lord Jesus, why does the world need miracles? People all over the world, including the Pharisees, need a miracle. For 2,000 years, why do humans actually create some theological sects, claiming we don't need a miracle now? Have you ever thought about that? These 2,000 years must differ from the previous 4,000 years. That is why they can tell such fallacies and even make a living. If the Pharisees claimed that they did not need miracles, would they be able to survive? He could end up getting shot to death. At that time, Jesus also scolded the Pharisees, "By what means do you and your disciples cast out demons?" Thus, in the time of the Lord Jesus and in the present age, it's obviously different. The reason why people's hearts are different is because their needs are different. In the past, even the Pharisees had to cast out demons. But now, most of the fundamentals, the most hostile to spiritual grace, it is to falsely claim that there is no need to hear the voice of God. There is no longer any need for God to perform miracles or heal. And the reason is, for 2,000 years, there's a pretty obvious situation, that is, the world's circumstances are fundamentally different. As Jesus said, the sick need a doctor. That is, when you need something, you need a miracle. Let me ask, why do you need a miracle man? Because before the coming of the Lord Jesus, the power of hell was so terrifying. It was only after the Lord Jesus came that the Bible recorded that it happened. At that time, people lived for 2,000 years to hear about it. You never thought about what the world was like before the Lord Jesus came. And they didn't write specifically, because it's all daily life. So, you can see, the whole age has developed to such inferences. Atheism, this is crazy. If you think about it, when the Lord Jesus was born, there is no such thing as atheism in the world, even Rome, Greece, Israel, etc. There is polytheism but no atheism. However, why is the present religious community, but can it produce atheism? After all, what is the difference? In fact, for 2,000 years, people can live without God. In other words, God foresees that during these 2,000 years, will produce science, atheism, so, the final test of the world, it must be the appearance of a UFO. But God's plan has been laid out for 2,000 years, it's not going to happen 30 years from now. The goal is to make people feel confident in today's technology, science, evidence, and research. I found out that thousands of years ago, hundreds of years ago, these technologies existed. Some civilizations have visited Earth, and they are the creators. Things like that. So, when you ask about UFOs, there are such complex inferences involved. That's why I brought out a little, what if I were a Freemason? Sure, we know that UFOs must be related to Freemasons. So, if I were a Freemason, I'm going to use NASA to tell a big lie, ready to be exposed at the end of the world. Once exposed, the world quickly believes and changes its position dramatically. Why? It turns out that if you want to convince someone of their beliefs, it is necessary to proceed step by step and let the other party think slowly. But if one day suddenly he feels that you lied to him, he can change his standpoints in one day. I've seen many bad students leave Zion, and that's precisely what happened. They will suddenly change their stance in one day, just because he felt cheated. You can imagine what it would be like to use NASA's method, make all of humanity feel cheated? All the evidence suddenly appeared to prove that he had been deceived. That way, instead of waiting 3 or 30 years, in just one day, those Christians who are not good at learning, although he claims to believe in God, he is also suspicious of UFOs. For the test given by God, he could switch to UFOs in a day, stop believing in God, immediately magnify the evil in their heart. It can be seen that these settings are necessary, because the whole thing is going to be dramatic, no longer like the religious beliefs of the past. It takes half a century to convince the world. Because God has prepared this plan to be completed in the last 7 years, it is not expected to take another 700 years, it's only 7 years. Therefore, God must use a game setting. It makes people feel like they have exposed the lie. So, once again, atheists around the world are being cleansed and tested. Time is very short, because he felt he had enough evidence. For those who believe, however, there will be sufficient evidence. For those who do not believe, so too. That's only fair. Even though time has shortened, the test remains. There is sufficient evidence for both right and wrong. 1 Timothy 2 verses 9 to 10. In like manner also, that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair, or gold, or pearls, or costly array, but, which becometh women professing godliness, with good works.
因為你諗下，主耶穌出世嗰個時代，全世界都冇誕生無神論，只會多神論，唔會有無神論嘅。但係點解而家我哋講緊嘅宗教界可以產生無神論出嚟呢？因為我哋呢2000年係可以唔需要神都過得到。所以換句話講，神預知呢2000年當中會產生科學，然後產生無神論，所以最尾嘅 testing 咧一定係
UFO。Better blind your eyes, alright. Evidence don't always lead you. Follow your heart, see the light. Find the truth inside your heart. Eternal life in the start. God has prepared the way. Hear the silence and just think.
有乜好過用 NASA 呢個方法？你俾到全世界啲人覺得你呃我，突然間有晒證據證明你呃我。因為一拆穿嘅時候咧，啲人會信得好快啊，同埋好急劇會即刻改變嘅立場。嗰啲半桶水嘅基督徒，佢一日之間就信 UFO， 唔信有神嘅，呢個就即刻將佢裏邊內心嘅我 magnify 咗。
Facts and figures they might fail. Logic sometimes turns to dust. Truth's not in the data screen. Path of light is straight and true. God's eternal plan for you. Intuition from above. Guides in God's unending love. Guides in God's unending love.